Minister of National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and his affected colleagues emerged from the meeting with a lot to reveal.
It's a bumper edition.
And now, in partnership with the private sector, the government is firming up arrangements to leverage the local opportunities provided by pension, life insurance and investment funds to finance infrastructure growth with emphasis on the housing sector.
On the supply side, construction of houses will be funded. On the demand side, mortgages will be made available so that those constructing houses have an outlet. And Nigerians who are saving so much by way of pension funds have the added bonus of access to affordable mortgages.
The ministers also clarified on the federal government's decision that henceforth it will only give procurement approval to its ministries, departments and agencies for compressed natural gas, CNG, solar or electric power vehicles and power generators.
What the federal government is doing in conjunction with the National Institute of Transport Technology is to start the conversion. We have recently done it for patrol vehicles of the Nigerian Army and some of the ministries, departments and agencies. And it is not only limited to federal or state government, it is also extended to private individuals.
It's a decisive move, even for climate change. And there are benefits to be had there, enormous economic benefits to be had. All around the world, the biggest funding available is for anything to do with climate change, climate adaptation.
The much talked about cumbersome nature of the Nigerian visa processing received attention and approval of the Council for the Ministry of Interior to finalize arrangements for a new policy to ensure issuance of a country's visa in 48 hours.
And it will also make it possible for other people to be captured under the visa on arrival policy. The Minister of Interior asked that he'll be given between 3 and 4 weeks to conclude on the new visa regime. So within the next 4 weeks, maximum, about a month, we should see a new visa policy regime for Nigeria.
The seeming disparity in the payment of access fee at federal airports was also addressed with the Council's approval for the relevant agency to enforce general compliance.
It is inconceivable. The VIPs who are supposed to have money don't pay for services, but they compel poor men to pay for services. And I said no. So I got my team together. I said, we need the backing of Council to compel everybody. In fact, guess what? Our memo says, with the exception of the President and the Vice President, the President overruled me. He said he and the Vice President will pay. He said everybody.
Ministry of Power equally secured 3 approvals from the Council to improve power infrastructures across the country.
There was a new approval for a 93-kilometer transmission line in the southeast. There is also an approval for 15 numbers of earthing transformers and earthing reactors to strengthen the grid. And we also got approval for emergency restoration systems so that we can easily repair those power assets in terms of transmission towers, transmission lines that were vandalized in various parts of the country.
The Council also approved memos for the award of contract for the construction of 12 roads across the country, including the Section 2, Phase 1 of the flagship Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. From the State House, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, is appealing to Nigerians to continue to support ongoing reforms in the sector, which he believes will bring about lasting solutions to various challenges hindering availability of constant power supply in the country. The minister was reacting to the ongoing protest by members of the organised labour unions demanding reversal of the recently increased tariff for power supply consumers categorised under Band A in the country. Acknowledging the inconveniences due to the cost implication of the tariff increase on Nigerians, the minister assured that the decision was necessary towards ensuring the desired improvements in the sector.
They've made their position known, and government has taken in their demand, and we are looking at it. The appeal, again, is that they should please not derail or distract our transformation plan for the industry. We have a clearly documented reform roadmap to take us to our desired destination, when we are going to have reliable, functional, cost-effective, and affordable electricity in Nigeria. It cannot be achieved overnight, because this is a decade of almost 60 years, which we are trying to correct.
Meanwhile, Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris has confirmed the government's decision to suspend the cybersecurity levy being proposed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let's now head to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives Committee on Financial Crimes has described bribery allegations against some members of the committee by cryptocurrency company Binance as diversionary tactics to mislead the public and evade investigations into financial crimes against the Nigerian state. Chairman of the committee, Ginger Onwusibe, says the House will pursue investigations of all petitions against Binance to a logical conclusion and will not be deterred by the antics of bribery allegations put forward by executives of the company.
In order to pull wound over the eyes of Nigerians and the general public, with the view to draw away the attention of the world from its unlawful refusal to appear at legitimate and constitutional parliamentary public hearing to answer the allegations of criminal and fraudulent activities, Binance belatedly came up with fabricated, false and malicious allegations of solicitation of bribes by the committee. The allegations are totally false and unfounded. The committee wishes to emphasize that all interactions with Binance were formal, open, and transparent. The committee never met with any Binance team outside the National Assembly, nor did the committee delegate any individual or entity to meet with Binance team on its behalf for any purpose.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Let's continue at the National Assembly, where the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values has visited the Nigerian Television Authority, describing the infrastructural and technological developments in the NTA as massive and encouraging. Ignatius Nkwo has more on the oversight visit.
Arrival of members of the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values at the Nigerian Television Authority on parliamentary oversight. Straight on arrival, committee members were taken round the studios and other ultra-modern broadcasting facilities. The Director General explained that they were achieved from the organization's meager resources. Inside the boardroom, the executive legislative engagement took off, with the Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, ruling out budget performances of the organization in the 2023 and 2024 fiscal year.
2024 performance For capital, we have 892,242,813 naira, and no release so far.
The Director General emphasized the need for improved funding to enable the organization carry out its project, especially the digitization of its broadcast equipment, completion of its corporate headquarters, and the maintenance of community and state capital stations.
During the year 2023, we were able to move some of our operations from the former premises to the permanent site with little resources available, just like I've highlighted during our tour of some of our facilities. The challenges that we have been confronted, Honorable Chairman and Honorable Members, are basically positive of form. You will agree with me that NTA is scattered across the country. As it is, we have more than 100 stations, operational stations. And we also are in battle or bedeviled with obsolete equipment and the changes in technology.
And at your time, you've been able to put this place together to the level that it has found itself. We want to equally, on behalf of the chairman, congratulate you.
The parliamentary committee acknowledged what it described as huge progress made by the NTA management with its mega resources. It advised ministries, departments and agencies of government to always pay NTA for its services to enable it serve the nation better.
See the environment, I listen to you without appreciating you and commending you for good work, work well done. That you must be commended.
With the very little resources you have, you'll be able to keep the place very neat and moving. It's quite encouraging. Not many government offices you go, you have this environment. As an architect, I'm very particular about what I say.
There shouldn't be any free service to any agency. There should be communication. Any agency that is inviting you to cover their program, there should be a kind of correspondence to that effect. Let them know. You buy diesel, you buy petrol and the rest to move your vehicle down and your personnel that are going to work.
This is the committee's first oversight visit to the Nigerian Television Authority and plans to extend its visit to NTA stations across the country. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Away from legislative matters, let's go back to State House matters. African First Ladies, under the auspices of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, have expressed a strong resolve to push the frontiers of Pan-Africanism and solidarity for the development of the continent. This was at a farewell reception organized for visiting First Ladies after the successful launch of the We Are Equal campaign in the country. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
When we all come together, we can make this continent what is God has ordained it to be.
I think that if we come together, as everyone else has said, united, we can do a lot for our women and children, especially. That's
Well, apologies for the intermittent lot of audio in that report. We'll get the full package subsequently. Now, having recognized the importance of the family in the society, the United Nations has chosen May 15th every year to celebrate the International Day of Families. The theme of this year's day is Families and Climate Change. And now have with me in the studio to give more insight into this year's Families Day is Elidad Onyanwa. He is the Country Director, Nations First Foundation. You're very welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much.
All right, tell us what's the essence of celebrating International Day of Families?
Yeah, it's. I think we all know it's very important to celebrate this Family Day because it can't be overemphasized. As we all know, family hold a lot of part of the society, you know, because everybody we see in the society comes from a family. So, and also we all know that most times we judge people by the family they come from. So that's one of the very importance of the celebration. And like we all know, families, the United Nations have set out this day to celebrate, to promote, to create awareness, more awareness of togetherness in families, and not just that, also well-being of families and all of that. So it's very important to celebrate families.
All right. The United Nations this year has decided to bring the families into the issue of climate change. What would you say informed this particular?
Yeah, like we all know, around the whole world, climate change is a big deal right now. It's affecting every sector of humanity right now as we speak. Like in the natural disasters happening around the world, even the war happening in some parts of the world is also affecting families. These are like the case of Nigeria, we know the most of our major issues that affect our farm produce, which is the the flooding and all of that. It's already rainy season and it has started happening already, and these are affecting families. You know, sometimes you see families what they can eat, what they used to eat before is no longer what they are eating now, because this thing, you know, into what we are doing around families, because the family is comprised of these same people we see every day. So it's important we do better. We are trying as a nation. We're involved to an extent, but we in the CSO, we believe that the awareness should be more put out there so people can know.
All right, Mr. Elidad Nyanwa, Country Director, Nations First Foundation. Many thanks for coming in to talk to us about International Day of Families.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, the Central Bank Governors assures of introduction and implementation of policies that will tame persistent inflation. Let's get more on this from Vivian Izadife on Business News.
The CBN's aggressive stand on inflation has become so obvious that the first MPC meeting raised the benchmark lending rate by 400 basis points to 22.75% from 18.75%. It has since been raised to 24.75%. CBN boss Olayemi Kadoso says the interest rates will stay high for as long as necessary to tame the
considerations of the committee at this meeting focused on the current inflationary pressures and the need to anchor inflation expectations as well as ensure sustained exchange rate stability. These considerations underscore the importance of the CBN's commitment to the price stability mandate and the need to urgently bring inflation under control.
Meanwhile, Nigeria experienced a 6.28% decrease in its total direct foreign exchange remittances in the first quarter of 2024, amounting to $282.6 million. This, according to data on the Central Bank of Nigerian website. The current value represents a decline from the $301.57 million recorded in the same period of the previous year. Inflow of direct remittances into Nigeria is facilitated through various channels, including international money transfer operators and banks. However, experts note that Nigerian FX inflows are primarily derived from four key sources: oil export proceeds, non-oil export proceeds, diaspora remittances, and foreign direct and portfolio investments. Although there was an increase in direct remittances with a total of $138.56 million received, marking a 75% growth from January 2023's $79.19 million, remittances fell to $39.15 million, a 53.26% drop from $83.76 million in February of the previous year. The downward trend continued in March, with remittances totaling $104.91 million, a 24.3% decline from March 2023's $138.63 million. With business, Vivian Izadife.
The federal government will leverage best brains and institutions in science and technology to spearhead reforms and innovations to drive home development in all strata. Vice President Kashim Shettima emphasized this when he declared open the 2024 National Productivity Summit on achieving higher productivity and national development by leveraging science, technology and innovation. Joseph Otsen reports.
On board are heads of various organizations and productivity experts to share knowledge and ideas on how to improve Nigeria's productivity level.
Higher productivity also makes a nation, its institutions and individuals competitive, which in turn translates into an improved quality of life for the people.
Even in terms of business operations, in terms of even capacity building collaboration with government agencies. For example, I want to welcome you to Ministry of Interior and look and see you carry out productivity audits of my agencies and see how productive they are, look at gaps, do gap analysis, and be able to provide solutions.
The Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented by his special advisor on National Economic Council and Climate Change, Rukia El-Rufai, declares the summit open as he points out clearly that the current administration's quest to revamp the economy lies heavily on new and emerging innovations in science and technology.
We must recognize the potential of new technologies in science and technology to serve as an advantage. These advancements can help us leapfrog our solutions and save our economy from implosion.
This summit will end with a communique that will be gazetted and be presented to the right quarters for actions.
Research conducted by the National Productivity Center on contribution of technology to the nation's economy between 1991 to 2020 shows negative sign. The government now wants a blend of investment in technology and human capital development to raise the productive ratio. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
We'll take another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
To strengthen Nigeria's bilateral trade relations, the Nigerian Exports Promotion Council is collaborating with the Chinese government to promote non-oil exports and increase Nigeria's market share in the international market. This is towards stabilizing the economy. Alika Okmanachi Arua reports.
There is a significant trade deficit between Nigeria and China of approximately $18 billion, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. This meeting with the Department of Commerce, Human Province, China, is aimed at bridging the gap and creating viable channels for increasing Nigerians' agricultural exports to China.
We are exporting to China. We want to export the highest quality and standard to China. You said you're setting up a structure on certification, to handle certification. Please let us know what you have, how we can assess it, and how we can open it up to our exporters, so we ensure that whatever is exported is of high standard.
The NEPC boss, Nonye Ayeni, also used the opportunity to appeal to the Chinese government to moderate trade tariffs on the export of goods from Nigeria, particularly on agro products like soya beans, sesames, and hibiscus, among others.
For us to also be successful in all this, there should be an inward and outward mission, more like a mission where you have B2B, business to business. We have very strong exporters in Nigeria. We have strong importers or off-takers in China. So if we have an inward, outward mission where we can bring them together so they can discuss and sign deals.
The Chinese government, in turn, promised to give Nigeria exporters all the necessary support required to facilitate trade between both countries.
We also want to strengthen the ties, especially in the investment. This time, the DG, he has the leader of the delegation together with a lot of Chinese companies, and we can push together to make a good environment for their investment in Nigeria.
In Abuja, Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
Well, amidst irregularities in financial transactions leading partly to the free fall of the Naira, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is reaching out to the Securities and Exchange Commission with a view to ensuring sanity in the marketplace. Benny Adams has details.
Given the recent development, the issue of forex malpractices, the crisis in our economy and all of that, the role that some of these players in virtual trading is playing in destroying the economy, I feel it's important for us to work together to see how we can nip this in the bud before the thing totally collapses our economy.
It is a meeting between an enforcer and a market regulator. Here, the EFCC believes best results are gotten when enforcers and regulators collaborate to ensure compliance to rules of business. For the new man at the helm of affairs at the Securities and Exchange Commission, he is on the speed dial towards addressing issues around illegal forex trading on virtual platforms, compliance to market regulations in the equities market, among other issues. He says, aside collaborations with key stakeholders like the EFCC, there is the urgent need for legislative reviews of some of the regulations.
I was excited about the National Confiscation Wallet because all of the things you have confiscated is hanging in limbo. Not unless you have that, which is like our bank. To put it in, we can't. And of course, if we want to dispose of it, it has to come out of that National Confiscation Wallet. It can't come out from the individual, the wallet. So this is critical and it's important that we are able to achieve it. If, for that reason, we are able to get the law passed in 15 days, that's good.
As part of the reform processes, the Securities and Exchange Commission recently issued new rules on issuance and allotment of private company securities, with penalties for defaulters attached. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
In line with President Bola Tinubu's directive that ministries, departments and agencies convert their vehicles to compressed natural gas, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority is urging all petrol stations to add CNG pumps in their filling stations for easy access. Lydia Sampson has details.
Deepening CNG use in Nigeria, the authority chief executive, Farouk Ahmed, says aligns with President Bola Tinubu's vision. And in this meeting are key marketers that will boost energy security, reduce emission and drive economic growth. The projection is to diversify the energy mix, including venturing into solar energy.
CNG is the way to go, and we discussed our plans and the collective responsibility to hopefully very soon start to see CNG add-ons in most of our new coming or upcoming and larger petrol stations. Just like we have PMS, AGO, and in the past DPK, we also want to have the CNG in petrol so that there'll be easy access to the consumers.
The country first, and it's when we have a good country that the marketers is able to do business and the consumer will be able to buy. I think the decision of the federal government supersedes whatever individual decisions or plan that we have. We are all in alignment with what's the decision of the federal government.
The meeting also discussed logistic hiccups experienced in the supply chains, giving an assurance that everything has been resolved. He reiterates that as regulators, they will not relent in working for the good of Nigerians. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, recently visited the Jet Motor Company assembly plant and was accompanied on the tour by the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Joseph Osanipin, and Tosin Koka, Commercial Director, PCNGI. They were received by the founder and chairman, Jet Motor Company, Chidi Ajairi, CEO, Derek Iwelukwa, Sanjay Rupani, Sales Director, and Ibimo Ofongo, the plant's manager. Welcoming the minister to the plant, Ajairi said Jet Motor Company now has the ability to assemble CNG and petrol buses and also convert petrol vehicles to CNG. The minister highlighted Jet Motor's dedication to employing local talents, which underscores their belief in empowering communities and contributing to Nigeria's economic prosperity. He noted that the initiative is to reduce transport costs and also help to grow the economy. Acting CEO Jet Motors Derek Iwelukwa thanked the minister as well as the entire PCNGI's team's resolve to make the CNG project a success. He also commended the president for his initiative to promote local production and create employment for more Nigerians.
And what is important is that I've come to see what is happening with the CNG initiative. Where are the buses, as Nigerians are asking? And I've seen for myself, I've driven them, I've tested them, and I've seen them being assembled. And of course, in the very near future, they'll begin to be rolled out, and the benefit will be available to all Nigerians.
As a leader in indigenous auto manufacturing, Jet specializes in building electric vehicles, vans, pickups and CNG petrol buses tailored to meet Africa's unique transportation needs. The International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance is engaging anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies in Nigeria on the use of beneficial ownership information geared towards enhancing their capacity in the investigation and prosecution of financial crimes. Let's get more on this from Tokwe Alabi.
Efforts to combat financial crime in Nigeria involve regulatory reforms, law enforcement collaboration, public awareness campaigns and international cooperation. As such, strengthening anti-money laundering measures, enhancing cybersecurity and promoting transparency are essential steps toward mitigating the risks. Engaging these anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies in Nigeria is to empower authorities on the use of information in combating financial crimes, particularly money laundering, terrorism financing, and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction.
Ordinarily, the liability of a company lies with that company.
Nigeria has undertaken positive steps to increase its risk understanding, and authorities have demonstrated a broad knowledge of the types of money laundering risks facing the country. These experts believe should be sustained for optimal results.
And wherever we find ourselves, we should be thinking of how we're going to make our own BO data to fuse with all the other layers of data that are available.
Coming out from the mutual evaluation process which was conducted on Nigeria, 80 different recommendations were made, and those recommendations are just key actions that different agencies need to take to improve their transparency, to improve their integrity in the way they manage public funds and in the way they try to deter criminal enterprise within their countries.
Drug trafficking being an international organized crime, you have a lot of people, the main actors that actually benefit from the crime, actually hidden behind. And so usually when you start arrest or you start investigation, you start dealing with the lower criminals. So it's very important that you identify those people that are behind those corporate bills and bring them together. That's why we are happy today that we're part of this with issues of beneficial information. We work very closely with all the relevant government agencies.
As a fundamental aspect of the rule of law and anti-corruption ROLAC program of the European Union under the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance IIDEA in Nigeria, these insights provided by this forum is expected to create coordinated systems for effective investigation and prosecution of financial crimes. In Abuja, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Public Complaints Commission is working to expand its advocacy with the planned launching of an ombudsman radio station. This was revealed by the Chief Commissioner, Public Complaints Commission Abimbola Ayo Yusuf during a one-day stakeholder summit in Abuja. Mina Daniels reports.
With over 48 years of chasing the truth, serving justice and earning public trust, the Public Complaints Commission boasts dispensing and dispersing more than 20,000 cases. However, earning public trust and confidence doesn't come easy in spite of the amount of resources expended. This explains the synergy with Foundation for Youth Empowerment and Social Welfare to expand advocacy and discourse.
And as for the awareness, we have an ombudsman radio. We're just waiting for it to get our frequency, but at the end of the week, they should start online. The awareness is coming up.
This one-day stakeholder summit is a platform for public and private sector players, as well as law enforcement representatives, to rub minds on best practices in the justice sector, serve justice as it when due, and earn the confidence of citizenry.
This summit is vital because it addresses the numerous and hard complaints of citizens who have faced injustice over the years. Our foundation is partnering with the Public Complaints Commission, PCC, to ensure that these voices are heard.
The reason why the Nigerian Police Force established this complaint response unit is because so many Nigerians felt that they don't even need to go to seek for justice, because at the end of it, it will be full-time.
We spend a great deal to handle customers' complaints, especially that we never allow that to go beyond our office.
The consensus here is that the Public Complaints Commission should be funded adequately to enable it leverage technology to advance advocacy on multiple platforms and share resources with stakeholders. The success of the Commission's enforcement unit is evidenced by its recovery of more than 200 million naira. In Abuja, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
Investors in the Nigerian solid mineral sector will no longer travel millions of miles to access information in the industry, but can now get the needed data at their fingertips. This is now the reality as the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development launched the Nigeria Minerals Resource Decision Support System software in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
To launch this Nigerian Minerals Resources Decision Support System.
Nigeria Minerals Resource Decision Support System software unveiled. A marketing strategy in the ease of doing business in Nigeria. The chief driver of the ministry, Dele Alake, optimistic, the software softens the process for data acquisition.
With a click of a button, you can access all the information that you require to make an informed decision or informed investment judgment in the sector.
I am convinced that the solid mineral sector will not just be an alternative to the oil and gas sector, but the solid mineral sector will be a real big deal, because that's what's coming up.
Dr. Dele Alake is one of the best ministers we could always pray for. So we invested more than $250 million so that we can be able to employ, we can be able to fix our GDP, we can be able to sort all our problems. In this country, we have everything.
The software helps users navigate the diverse geological terrain of the solid minerals industry in Nigeria. Mia Ogede, NTA News.
You've been watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here's a look at our major stories. Quest for additional territory. Nigeria acquires 16,300 square kilometers coastal area. House of Representatives refutes bribery allegation by cryptocurrency company Binance, labels it diversionary. Nigerian Exports Promotion Council collaborates with Chinese government to promote non-oil exports and increase Nigeria's market share. And the National Productivity Center is targeting science and technology for national development. Part of Canada city in oil sands region evacuated as wildfire draws near. And thousands rally in Georgia after Parliament passes foreign influence law. Ekene Ndilwe tells us more on the foreign scene.
Four neighborhoods of Fort McMurray, a city in Canada's major oil-producing region, were ordered evacuated on Tuesday as an out-of-control wildfire drew near and the skies filled with smoke. Shifting winds gusting to 40 kilometers per hour fanned the flames, scorching 9,600 hectares of surrounding forest as it advanced to within 13 kilometers of the city that had previously been gutted by wildfires in 2016. Thousands of residents in the neighborhoods of Prairie Creek, Abasand, Grayling Terrace and Beacon Hill were ordered out by 4 p.m. local time. By mid-afternoon, a highway south was jammed with cars and trucks. Officials said the fire had grown significantly in multiple directions since Monday. Regional Fire Chief Jody Buzz, however, assured residents that crews were prepared, having cleared brush and erected fire barriers over the winter, and that water bombers were now dropping retardant to slow its advance. In another news, thousands of protesters rallied on Tuesday in Georgia after Parliament adopted a law to brand overseas-funded NGOs as groups under foreign influence, a measure Brussels has warned will undermine Tbilisi's European aspirations. Lawmakers voted 84-30 in favor during the third and final reading of the law, which was widely denounced as mirroring repressive Russian legislation used to silence dissent. Protesters skirmished with riot police in the street outside the Parliament building in the center of the capital, where demonstrations have raged for the last month. Scuffles even broke out inside the chamber earlier as opposition lawmakers clashed with members of the ruling Georgian Dream Party. Critics say the bill is a symbol of the ex-Soviet republic's drift closer to Russia's orbit over recent years. The Interior Minister said 13 demonstrators were arrested for disobeying police orders.
Dignitaries from various parts of the country, monarchs, statesmen, all friends of King Apollos II Onne Nchia X and Emir Okori of Eleme Kingdom and the Eleme community converged on the royal palace to pay their last respects to his wife, the late Queen Njideka Apollos II, and to commiserate with the family and the entire kingdom over their loss. Ijoma Wikir captured the sights and sounds of the memorable event and now reports.
The journey of life only ends with death, but memories, like printed words in a book, are indelible in the hearts of loved ones, along with a vacuum that may never be filled in the minds of the bereaved. The entire Eleme Kingdom, Nchia, Ogale community and Nwogo, her immediate family, showed their agony as they received the body of their late wife and queen, Njideka Apollos II. The chief mourner, King Apollos II, had to relieve words from his philosophical book on death, Time the Nemesis, to hold himself. The array of dignitaries at the event include the Emir of Kano, His Highness Alhaji Aminu Adebayero, Emir of Bogo Kingdom, Dr. Muhammad Haliru Dantoro, His Royal Highness Alhaji Abubakar Ahmed Yakubu, Chairman, Ampa Traditional Council, His Royal Highness Omaru Adamusanda Gangwari Ganye, former Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tallinn, His Royal Highness Eze Emeka Ihunwo, Nyewali, and paramount ruler of Woji community, amongst other traditional rulers, political groups, National Council of Women's Societies, and management of NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, led by the Zonal Director, Dr. Evelyn Wosu. Sympathizers came from far and near to console the bereaved family in their time of grief.
This is a loss not only to them, but to all of us. Indeed, she's a mother. She can even be a father to a lot of people, a friend, a sister, and so many things